Welcome to FailCraft, the podcast where we dive into the messy, real side of success and explore how setbacks become the stepping stones to growth and clarity. I'm your host, Ezekiel Iferia, and today's guest is Debra Bowers. Professionally, she is a sales and marketing strategist who help businesses grow without being salesy. But her most impressive campaign wasn't for a client, it was for her own life. After raising five children and being married for 20 years, Deborah's life hit a wall. In a very short span of time, her marriage ended, her children left the nest, and her mother passed away. She found herself in her 50s alone and for the first time realizing she knew how to take care of everyone else but had no idea how to take care of herself. She's here to talk about the terror of starting over when society says you should be slowing down, why human sales is about connection, not manipulation, and how to find yourself when the house is suddenly quiet. So, Deborah, it is an honor to welcome you to the show. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for our conversation.
Great to have you here. So, let's get things started. Deborah, you wrote that starting over in your 50s is daunting. You faced a triple threat of loss, a divorce, an empty nest, and the death of your mother, all around the same time. So, can you take us back to that moment of your life? So, how did it feel like for you going through so much loss in such a short span of time? I'd like you to just tell us how you were able to navigate it.
At the beginning, it was excruciating. Honestly, it was scary and sad, and I was full of grief over mainly the loss of my mom. But what I know now is that all of that loss, even, I mean, my kids weren't lost, they just grew up and I didn't need me every day. And my relationship with them was changing because of the divorce, but it also was just the empty space that the loss of those things that took up my time and my purpose and taking care of this person and my family and businesses and everybody else's perspective. But when that was gone, it left this empty space inside of me, like it does always for everyone. It felt horrible. And I spent a lot of time on my knees crying, starting out, I really felt like, what did I do wrong? And am I being selfish for getting a divorce? Because that was me wanting to. So I already felt like something wasn't fulfilling me, right? I already had that feeling. And, but even though I had it, and even though I made that choice, that empty space still has to fill up. And until it does, you're full of nothing but grief, grieving the missingness of it and the emptiness of it. So when my mom died, which was probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And we're all there, right? None of us escape the loss of our parents. They don't get to live with us forever. But for me, she was my person. She was the person that I was comfortable being vulnerable with, which isn't something that was naturally easy for me. And so that was the catalyst that made me really hit rock bottom. And so at first I was really scared and I didn't know what I was going to do.
Mm.
I didn't have a lot of money. My ex-husband was a gambler. And so there were lots of challenges that I was facing that were scary. I was in many ways starting over my career, and that was scary. How am I going to survive? What am I going to do? And I was faced with a lot of regret that was misplaced, and I didn't really know where that came from. And the first steps for me to change that was a realization that I have a lot left to give and a lot left to do. And I'm somebody that can't eat when I'm really stressed out. And so I got really thin and skinny. And I was an athlete growing up. And so feeling frail made me feel even worse. It didn't help at all that I felt frail. And that was the first step, was taking care of myself physically. I made direct choices that I was going to be strong again and I was going to focus on my health so that I felt better physically. And that helped me mentally because it's easy to focus on physical things. The first thing was, I'm not going to eat fast food. I was in a place where I would bring home fast food and I would sit on my bed and I would watch TV and eat until I got ready for bed. And then I would climb in the bed and go to sleep. And I love to cook. I'm a great cook. I have a nice open floor plan. And so the second thing was, I'm not going to eat in my bedroom. And that alone, that one step, was the first thing of really taking my power back, taking control over my body and what I put in it. And of course, reading and ingesting and listening to podcasts that were reinforcing those messages for me helped as well. But those were the first steps. And now I know how important it is to take care of your vessel and your body so that God or the universe or spirit, whatever it is for you, can see you honoring that. And it's important that we can physically embody our blessings. We see people all the time that can't. We see people that get big blessings before they're able to actually hold on to them. We see people become famous or make a lot of money or have a lot of success professionally and still feel very unfulfilled and oftentimes make very poor choices for themselves and fill up that empty space with things that aren't good for us. And so those were really the first steps that I made in just trying to feel good again physically. And I went into grief counseling and learned so much in there about why I was stuck and found ways to become unstuck so that I could find my path and my passion and what I wanted to do. In the
Mm.
beginning, it really was scary. And I understand how a lot of people can get stuck there in that space and become very victim mentality. Like, why is this happening to me? And it wasn't that I didn't think that. It was really more about why do I feel this way and how the heck do I get out of it? That was the biggest thing, was trying to find my way out. And I had isolated myself from friends and people that I trusted. And I had to find my way back to them and find that support. That was really important at the beginning as well.
All right, Deborah, you like, thank you very much for sharing that backstory with us. So, fast forward to today, you teach a human sales playbook that focuses on connection rather than pressure. So, did your own experience with grief and healing make you a better salesperson? Like, did it teach you to truly listen to people?
It definitely did. It allowed me to see things from a perspective of the
Um,
other person more so than I had before. I was a
uh,
great salesperson and I was always a relationship salesperson. So I always liked to connect, but I couldn't really name that necessarily. And when I went through all of my stuff and found my way out of that hole, started my agency, started my podcast, did all of those things, I learned so much about myself and about how people grow, how we view power and leadership, how I had been really conditioned by corporate world and by expectations from myself and from family and employers and society to do things a specific way. And it had caused me to really shrink and water myself down to make other people feel comfortable. And I learned that most people do that, right? We're so, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I wonder what they think now. Oh no, I can't do this. And I spent a lot of time if I felt somebody was upset or if I felt someone wasn't going to say yes or do business with me, I wanted to fix that and repair that. And so it's a people pleasing thing, right? For fear of loss and fear of someone being unhappy with me. and fear of conflict and wanting to not have that conflict. So fixing, and that was a big deal. And my journey cured me of that, first of all. I'm not here to fix everybody. I can't bear, I'm taking care of myself, and that's the best that I can do. And boy, walking away from that and setting those boundaries where I'm not going to do that. I'll give you a really good example. Last year at Thanksgiving in 2024,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had, when your kids are adult, and I raised 5 kids, you don't often get to have lots of them together in one place again. They've got in-laws and some of them are far away, and it's hard to get them all together. And my oldest daughter was going to be here for Thanksgiving, and she has in-laws here as well that I have to share time with, and I'm very sensitive to that. So when she asked me if I could do Thanksgiving evening meal, I was like, yes, there's no question. Of course I can. I'll have it whenever you want. I was so grateful and felt so blessed to be able to have them home. And thankfully, some of my other kids could accommodate that as well. But there were people in my family that were angry that I didn't consult them, that I didn't rearrange everything to make them happy, because old Debra would have done that. And they straight up were mean to me about it, I'll be honest. And so holding that boundary of, I'm not here to make everyone happy. This is what I'm doing. You're welcome to attend, but I'm not rearranging everything. There's way too many people for me to try to do that. So stopping that people-pleasing behavior made me an infinitely better salesperson, because now I'm not concerned about if I conflict with someone or if they don't receive my message correctly. It doesn't cause an emotional response with me. It makes me think about it and listen to what they say so I can better connect with them. So that alone, getting rid of that people-pleasing type of behavior was huge in allowing me to be a better salesperson. And in the Human Sales Playbook, we go through lots of different steps and tools that help you emotionally regulate, so that my emotions aren't getting all involved in my conversation and connection with the person that I'm trying to do business with. Because it's not about how I feel. The only way you should feel if you're selling something is enthusiastic, because sales at its basic level is a transfer of enthusiasm. I
Mm.
am excited about how I can help people with the products and services that I sell. And if I can effectively communicate that to the person I'm talking to, and they can feel it and they can see how it could help them, then I'm much more likely to sell to them or to get a referral if it's not the right time for them. So removing the reactionary from emotion allows you to see everything clearly. When we are emotional, our bodies send blood flow to our arms and legs because they think we're getting into fight or flight. We might need to do something. And so that takes blood flow away from your brain and your ability to reason. So emotions can really mess that up. And yes, our emotions are what make us uniquely human, but regulating them are what make us great, great humans and make us great communicators. And that's what sales is all about. So the Human Sales Playbook talks about steps that you can take to be clear and to keep that clarity and be confident in your message and be able to communicate it and listen and hear what they're saying, as opposed to how that feels for you. Most of the time when people are selling, they are really focused on getting the deal. I need the commission. I need the sale. I don't want to lose my job. All of the expectations take front and center. And being able to set that aside and knowing and being perfectly clear that if this is the right time for me to have this customer and I can really truly help them, then it'll happen. And if it doesn't, then I want to know that as quickly as possible so I can let go of that prospect and move forward with them, with the next, and find the next. That's really the customer that's meant for me today. And that is a difficult thing to do. while you're emotionally charged and
Mm.
feeling like I need this to work. So we force and we try to fix and we try to, right? All that people pleasing. It's the same type of behavior that we get into when we're selling, and finding that clarity and being able to center. And there's some tools in the playbook that help you prepare for a meeting you're about to walk into, that help you regulate and take deep breaths and remind yourself of the clarity that you have and how you want to move forward and how your product and services really benefit people. It might not benefit them. It might not be the right time for them. And that's okay. Because if
Mm.
it's not for them, but you've transferred that enthusiasm, they understand how it will help. If it doesn't work for them and you don't get emotional, then you can solicit a referral from them. And that's simple to do at the end. I understand it's not the right time for you, and it's such a great product. I know you love it too. So if you know anyone that can benefit from it and the time's right for them, I'd love a referral. Now you've popped that bubble of tension that they have that you're about to try to pressure and manipulate and convince them. You've let go of all of that. You've accepted that it's not the right time, but you still get to talk about how awesome it is. And you still get to build that demand within them. So it helped me so much. And I created the Human Sales Playbook after, right? From everything that I learned about growth and power and leadership, going through all of that myself really changed how I looked at things and allowed me to listen with curiosity as opposed to listen to respond to that objection to sell, which is the training that most salespeople get when they go through sales training, is how to respond to objections. And that doesn't really connect. That's a response to try to get them to say yes.
All right, Deborah. Thank you very much for that response. So I'd like to ask you a personal question, Deborah. For you, after raising 5 kids, surviving deep loss, and building a business on your own terms, I'd like to know, what does being successful truly mean to you now?
Wow. So I look at success, I think, on a multiple different levels. I have a I have a portfolio brand, so I have my agency, I have my podcast, and I'm founder in a new company that does coaching and consulting. I'm not really doing anything new, but my coaching and consulting didn't really fit nicely into my brand container, right? So all of that together, yes, I love having clients, and boy, do you feel successful when you've got a big client list and you're busy. But oftentimes when I felt that unfulfilled feeling, even though I was busy with clients. So success for me is really about growth. Am I moving forward toward growth? Am I improving every day? Is my work helping other people grow and become better business people, helping them grow revenue, helping them grow confidence in themselves and find their own expertise and brand authority? If it's doing all of those things and I'm improving along the way and learning, that feels great to me. And I feel successful if that's happening. So lifelong learning, people talk about their core values. I'm really a nerd. I like to look cute, but if I didn't have cuteness involved, would have wrinkled clothes and a pocket protector, because I love to get down into the deep conversation and learning. And so as long as I'm moving forward, learning new things and able to apply those to my own personal and professional growth, and I'm growing, even if it's in small increments, then that's real success for me.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. That was indeed an amazing response. Great way to put what success means to someone into words, Deborah. So, finally, for our listeners who want to go download your Human Sales Playbook, connect with you, or listen to Deals with Heels, so where is the best place for them to go?
The best place to find all of that is going to be probably on my LinkedIn profile. But you can also find out all of that information on my website, dealswithheels.com or hexagonmedia.net. And I'll send you a link to download the Human Sales Book. The Human Sales Playbook. And so they can get that there. It's also on thegrowthvanguard.com. I have a lot of different websites because of that portfolio brand, but it really does center around me personally. And the rest of those are tools that I use to help myself grow and help others grow professionally as well. My podcast really deals with heels is available on all the normal platforms plus on YouTube, and a lot of my growth is in that podcast. Boy, those first few episodes were rough, right? So seeing the growth of the podcast and the messaging that's in it. If you want to find out a lot about me, you can find that by those episodes, but also more about my services. You can link to those from any of those websites also. That was kind of a convoluted answer, but the Human Sales Playbook and all of that really exists on thegrowthvanguard.com.
All right, Deborah, it's been such an interesting time having the conversation with you, and I am indeed very excited to have you on the show today.
It was went so quickly. I could talk to you for such a long time. You're very down to earth and made me feel so comfortable.
Thank you very much.